Hey there, Aquarius. Here's your weekly horoscope for March 21 to March 27th. Well, first of all, the big news is we're now in spring. Boy, that's exciting. And in fact, with the sun in Aries, it does make a very positive aspect to Aquarius. It tends to have a brightening influence on your sign, we'll say. So hopefully you feel a lot brighter this week. As well, we have a few other things. We start the week with Moon in Gemini, and also Mars continues to be in Gemini, and it is making a trine to Saturn in Aquarius pretty much most of the week. That's great news because you probably have noticed you may have a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more drive, a lot more energy. And with the Saturn in Aquarius aspecting these planets, you also probably have a lot more discipline and self-responsibility. Those are all good things to be starting off the week with and starting off spring for sure. We still have the planet Uranus and Taurus making a challenging aspect to Saturn in Aquarius, but this is going on all year. So bottom line, it is a year of having to make adjustments for everybody, not just your sign. Particularly for you, though, with Saturn in Aquarius, you may need to, from time to time this year, examine your own self-discipline, examine your own self-accountability, and the balance of responsibility between you and other people or other groups. Sometimes adjustments will need to be made. Sometimes boundaries will have to be renegotiated with some people, maybe even within yourself. When Saturn is in your sun sign, I will add that sometimes we tend to be a little bit more self-critical, perhaps a little bit more negative about ourselves, or we may see not necessarily ourselves in any way negative, but our present or our future. That might be a little bit over serious. Saturn gets a little bit of a bad rap in astrology for being a taskmaster of the zodiac, which it is. But what Saturn ultimately is trying to do for any sign that it is aspecting is to give you a better sense of where you stand in relationship to the world or others, and to ensure that structures and boundaries are working for you. So these kinds of themes may come up this week, in particular because we do have that Mercury in Pisces position that is squaring Mars in Gemini. So for a lot of signs, especially if it tangles with your sign, you may find yourself being drawn into more arguments or disagreements this week. At least that there will be people expressing unhappiness or displeasure, maybe with you, maybe not with you, maybe with other things. But again, you may be party to having to deal with other people's negative feelings or irritability even. Now, if you yourself are being irritable, I'll remind you that we also have Jupiter in Aquarius. And whenever Jupiter is in your sun sign, that tends to usually have you feel a lot more hopeful and optimistic. So if you're not, maybe you need to change your self-talk. Maybe you need to take a really good look at where you are and count your blessings and be grateful for what you have, because probably you may just be focusing on something negative if in fact that is how you're feeling. Generally, with these aspects, with Mars trining Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, Jupiter's also making a very soft aspect to the planet Neptune, you actually may have a very good week, especially once you deal with any conflicts or confrontations that may come up. So hopefully you're going to have a great week ahead, Aquarius, and I hope that you do.